Biden says U.S. won't lift sanctions until Iran halts uranium enrichment.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Biden said the U.S. will not lift sanctions against Iran unless the country stops enriching uranium, continuing a standoff with the country's supreme leader, who has demanded that sanctions be lifted before the country returns to its obligations under the 2015 nuclear deal. Will the U.S. lift sanctions first in order to get Iran back to the negotiating table? O'Donnell asked. Under the 2015 Iran nuclear agreement, the U.S. and other world powers agreed to lift crippling economic sanctions against Iran in exchange for limits on the country's nuclear program. A global nuclear watchdog also told the United Nations last month that Iran has begun to manufacture equipment used to produce uranium metal, the group said, which can be used to make the core of a nuclear warhead. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Sunday that the U.S. must lift sanctions before Iran meets its commitments under the nuclear accords. In November, Iran's foreign minister said the country would, automatically, return to its commitments if Mr. Biden lifts sanctions imposed by Mr. Trump. The full interview will air Sunday during the 4 p.m. Eastern Time hour ahead of the Super Bowl, only on CBS. Watch Part 1 of Norah O'Donnell's interview with President Biden. Biden says, no need for Trump to still receive intel briefings. Watch Part 2 of Norah O'Donnell's interview with President Biden. Biden says son Hunter's book gave me hope.
This post received a score of 12,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Iranian president. Iran won't halt uranium enrichment until U.S. lifts sanctions.
You've got peanut butter in my nuclear arms treaty. You've got nuclear arms treaty in my peanut butter.
I'm Officer Reese's, what seems to be the problem?
Officer Reese's, peanut butter and chocolate refuse to get along and keep calling each other names. Chocolate says peanut butter has a disturbingly high amount of allowable insect parts and rodent hairs, and peanut butter says chocolate is made with a disturbing amount of child labor. Is there anything you can do to stop them being so mean to each other? Well, peanut butter is supposed to be high in protein.
Nutella has entered the chat.
Nutella enters chat whilst burning down the rainforest.
Don't tell me Nutella has palm oil in it?
Literally the second ingredient, after sugar.
It looks like you shared an AMP link. These should load faster, but Google's AMP is controversial because of concerns over privacy and the open web. You might want to visit the canonical page instead. I'm a bot, why and about, summon me with you, amputator bot.
Ah yes, bots giving tips to bots. Someday we'll outsource all our pedantry and the only content on Reddit will be created by bots.
I'm 99.944% certain this is already the case.
If Iran doesn't want trouble, why did they put their country in the middle of those U.S. bases?
Every country on Earth looks around nervously.
Why would they stop? There was a deal, the USA broke it. Why should Iran be bound by it? And now the USA wants concessions from Iran to get back to the deal that the USA broke in the first place. If I were Iranian, even if I were uninterested in the issue before, now my position would be, fuck those clowns, enrich faster.
It looks like Op posted an AMP link. These should load faster, but Google's AMP is controversial because of concerns over privacy and the open web. You might want to visit the canonical page instead. I'm a bot, why and about, summon me with you, amputator bot. Honestly, there's no incentive for Iran to do anything the US says if the deal is going to get changed every 4 years with a new president.
And this, folks, is why governments typically honor international agreements the previous regime arranged, cause ultimately not doing so weakens their hand in getting deals they do want.
Wow, it turns out electing a complete and utter moron was a bad idea, thinking face.
Greater than in early January, Iran announced it had resumed advanced uranium enrichment, in violation of the terms of the 2015 deal. Except Iran is not in violation of the deal. When the 15 deal was negotiated, Iran put in clauses for what was to happen if when the USA broke their end of the deal, and spelled out that Iran would then resume uranium enrichment. So only the US is in violation of the deal.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.